Alrighty, what is up, YouTube? We are back from Halloween Horror Nights, and we have a few things we want to say about it. Tips that might help you on your trip. Hopefully, I can crunch everything into a condensed, short and sweet video for you guys so that you have all the good information. So, let us begin. So, first, I have been to Halloween Horror Nights on a holiday weekend and on a non-holiday weekend. And obviously one will be a bit more busier than the... Obviously one will be a lot more busier than the other. That being a given, the holiday weekend, it is packed, crazy, almost shoulder to shoulder.
Super full, and it's not super enjoyable just because there's just such heavy crowds.
And on a non-holiday weekend, it was pretty good. It wasn't super crazy. The lines did, reach up to 2 hours at one point, but those were for the popular ones at the beginning of the night.
And that's to be expected.
Yeah, but later in the night, the popular lines went all the way down to at least 30 minutes. So there you have it. If you can go to Halloween Horror Nights, go on a non-holiday weekend.
It'll save you some time in line for sure.
And so that leads us into the crowds, right? Which we kind of already touched base on, but for the holiday weekend, the crowds, pretty insane. The lines were up to at least between 1.5 hours to 3 hours.
Yeah, like the more popular ones definitely had a long wait. It was crazy to see.
Yeah, so that's something to be wary of. So you can have it really packed, or you can have it, moderate. So those are just the two things we want to let you know about. Which leads us into the next thing. This is an extra cost, but it's worth it if you can fit it into your budget. It will save you so much time.
And almost make it's definitely worth the money, especially if you can only go on a holiday weekend, and that would be the Express Pass.
Yes, the Express Pass is a lifesaver, especially if you're there just for the haunted houses and you're only there for one day and you want to hit every single haunted house. Definitely do get the Express Pass. It is well worth it.
It really is. We were a little hesitant at first, but after experiencing the crowds and everything, we were very glad that we got it.
Yes. And so Express Pass on a holiday weekend, at most we waited 30 minutes.
And that was the absolute most popular one. Yeah. And even then, that was significantly less than what others had to wait in the regular line.
Right. And I would say a Express Pass on a non-holiday weekend, it can be worth it. However, I don't think it is necessary. First time I went, which was a non-holiday weekend, I got through the houses in a decent amount of time. I could have probably hit every single house. However, I did stop for some food. So that's another thing we'll have to consider in a little bit, but Express Pass is definitely worth it, especially if you're staying at one of those premium resorts. You get the Express Pass anyways.
Yeah.
And a cool fact, which I didn't know, your Express Pass works on the roller coasters that are open.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of roller coasters, there's only 4 of them that are open. The Mummy, Men in Black ride,
the Rock and Roller
Coaster, and the Harry Potter Green Dots. Those are the only 4 ones that are open. If you don't want to waste your times.
Yeah, if your main goal is the haunted houses, then definitely skip out on the rides, unless you have the Express Pass where you can pretty much just walk right on.
Right. However, holiday weekend, the Harry Potter one was...
Yeah, even with the Express Pass, we waited quite a while.
Yeah. So there's that tidbit for you. Foods. So I did try some of the foods there. I got the pizza fries, I got the corn dog, I got 2 of the different potato twists.
We got the chicken skewers.
Got the chicken skewer. I would say, honestly, the food wasn't the best. The chicken skewer was the best out of the ones we got.
Chicken skewer was very good.
Chicken skewer was very good. Very good size too. Decent size.
Great flavor, good size. That was probably one of the only things worth it.
Right. But the potato crisps, it's fair food. The first time I got it, there was like no seasoning on it. I got the sour cream and chives, and I was expecting it to taste like, sour cream and onion chips.
Yeah, you would think.
But it literally tasted like nothing. And then we got the garlic parmesan ones.
And those were good.
Those were decent.
But the best way to explain them is what he said. It's fair food.
And then the corn dog, the Korean corn dog with the Frito-Lay's chips on top all over it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, man. It just, I mean, the Frito-Lay's was overpowering. They marketed it as like ghost pepper, no spice to it whatsoever. Not that great. I highly recommend skipping that one. And then the pizza fries. People were raving about that thing. I honestly do not know why they were raving about it. Didn't have too much seasoning on it anyways. I wish they used crispy fries. The fries were soggy. And then they didn't really sauce it up much either. Or the pizza fries was just not as great as everyone put them out to be.
So a lot of the foods you could probably skip. I wouldn't waste the time that you could be at haunted houses getting the food because it was pretty mid for the most part.
And that kind of leads us into our strategies. So we have three different strategies here. If you want to focus on haunted houses, skip the rides, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're there for the haunted houses, just do haunted houses. If you do not have the express pass, we would probably recommend, there's two ways to go about it. If you want to do all of the haunted houses, go on a non-holiday weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be a very big one.
Very big one. Do the houses in unpopular first. So kind of start towards the back and then make your way towards the popular rides at near the end of the night, around like maybe 11, 12 o'clock, because it stays open till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Because on a non-holiday weekend, it was like pretty much clear by 12 a.m. for me, like 30-minute long wait at most. If you do have the express pass, obviously kind of do what you want.
Yeah.
Again, but also if you're there for the haunted houses, just focus on haunted houses. If you go on a holiday weekend, do the most popular ones because they are the most popular for a reason. They're really good, really scary. Insidious was insane.
It's awesome.
Crazy, wild.
But, you know, if you have the option, just don't go on a holiday weekend because you're going to be waiting a long time if you decide to do, because that's what everyone else does.
If you're there for the haunted houses, just focus on those. The food, again, we recommend just kind of eating before the whole event and then skipping the food. If you're there for the food,
maybe research ahead of time.
Research ahead of time, but also just, you know, pick the haunted houses you really want to do. And then in between then, just grab your food and head on over. We recommend skipping the tribute store because it is honestly not that different than the Halloween Horror Nights items that they have in their stores in City Walk or even at the resorts. A lot of the merch in there,
it's the exact same. So if you're there specifically because you want the merch, go for it. But if you're not like, I don't care, skip the tribute store. Because it took us a while to even get through it. 'Cause, it was just kind of like a slow moving line.
And then lastly, the performance show. I forget what they called it, but
it's different every year. But I would say we checked it out. I would say it is definitely something that you want to try to make time for because it is so unbelievably incredible. Like one of the best shows I think I've ever seen, ever.
Yes, and it's very sexy. It's a very sexy show.
And there's a lot of fire.
A lot of fire, a lot of acrobats, or acrobatics.
Acrobatics, aerial arts, incredible dancing. Like it was very entertaining for sure. So. And it does fill up fast. So once the time comes around to get, I think there's 3 or 4 shows. But once it becomes close to that time, you want to get in line as soon as you can because they pack you in like sardines.
Right. And we showed up, I would say we showed up 30 minutes before. And even then we felt like, oh shoot, we might not even make it in.
Yeah.
Because they kept cutting the line right after us.
Yeah.
There's 2 parts that they did that. The first part was when we got in the initial section, initial line. And then there was one when there was like a second region of the line that they kind of...
When you start getting into the seats and stuff.
Right.
We did make it in, and it was incredible, definitely worth it. So again, if you don't have an express pass, I would say definitely find some time to work the show into your schedules because it's something you do not want to miss. Right.
And if you do have the express pass, obviously, you can kind of go see that. Gotta go see that show because then after the show, just go hop on over into a haunted house. But
yeah.
Lastly, what is our favorite haunted house? Insidious was our favorite
Insidious.
haunted house. It was the scariest,
The longest.
the longest. Yeah, because that haunted house lasted like.
It was a long one.
Yeah, our most disappointing. I don't want to say a Quiet Place was the most disappointing, but I kind of do want to say it was the most disappointing.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's a quiet haunted house, and then just loud noises. But the monsters aren't. There's one monster scare that got me because I think it's somebody wearing the head of the thing and it jumps out.
But that's it.
But that's it. Everything else was like.
Just loud noises.
Well, not only
like
that,
puppets.
but it was like puppets, but really bad fake-looking puppets. And they moved out so slowly. They would like.
Yeah. So the point where you're like, oh.
Yeah. But the one that someone was moving the thing,
That
that
one
one
was
was
good.
scary. Second place haunted house, Slaughterhouse Cinema.
Yeah.
That was a good
I was gonna
one.
say that one because it just reminded like an '80s movie and stuff like. It was awesome.
I would say the funniest one for me going through, it was actually kind of scary. Like, not scary, but like it had nice jump scares. But it was funny because it was the Ghostbusters one. And she got scared because like the good guys will also scare you too.
Yeah.
And she was like, whenever she got scared, how did you say it?
I was like, why are you doing this? You're the good guys.
It was really funny. But yeah, so those are our thoughts on Halloween Horror Nights and tips and tricks to maybe have your experience be good, if not better than ours. We had a good experience. But
Yeah, I would say this was honestly a lot better experience in Orlando than our first experience in Hollywood.
I didn't put any video out because
We didn't even get to go into the haunted houses.
house.
It was ridiculous.
The lines were 3 hours and like 30 minutes each.
Every single one of them.
And not only that, it was just so compact, like literally like skin to skin. That's how crazy California was.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend doing Orlando versus California. It's just way better organized, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So hopefully that helps you guys, and you learned something. We definitely learned something, and we'll be a lot prepared, or we'll be better prepared for next year. Catch you in the next one. Peace.